What we're going to hear at this section of the board meeting is material we've already heard at the last meeting. These board meetings are happening very quickly together here. And that material was the so-called strategic financial plan, which all of a sudden McFarland, who has been in charge, what, 5 years now? He's been there 5 years. All the rumors about him going anywhere, getting fired, were all false, just as I said. He's not going anywhere. He's got complete support from the governor and the board of directors. Okay, they support him 100%. So we're going to listen to some more of this strategic financial plan nonsense, and it's important to understand what this really is all about, and that's why we're going to go over it again. This is a roundabout way to get to the union benefits again. Their whole strategic plan is based on taking away union benefits. They have this idea that somehow they're going to have to double service because of population growth. I mean, it's a ludicrous idea to be talking about doubling service when you can't even keep the service that you had 5 years ago. The second reason for this is because of the furor in the public that created this audit. We haven't heard anything about that since they started it. They're supposed to be doing it, but that's all died down. We don't expect anything to come of that audit at all. Maybe they'll have a few harsh words or something, but it won't result in any changes to anything that's happening in the transit system. It's just a look. It's not a document that will create change. But part of this strategic plan is to give the perception that the public is being included in the process, because one of the reasons why everybody was so upset with Trimet, and rightly so, is because the public has been excluded from any part in decision-making processes. For example, in the last budget, it was the administrators with the complicit board of directors who decided to double the contingency budget from $10 million to $20 million. Did they ask the public's input? No. They just did it. It was McFarland with his complicit board that authorized $1 million in raises that go on in perpetuity. That $1 million will go another million and another million. Did they ask the public's opinion? No. Not only did they not ask the public's opinion, they hid it from the public as long as possible. None of the players in the cast have changed. This is what I'm bringing up. None of the players in the cast have changed. These are all the same people with the same ideas. But they have to change the way that they're perceived by the public. And this is what this is all about. It's a phony stage show to make it appear as if they're soliciting opinions from the public. They're not, okay? Anybody that's done any serious watching of the Trimet Board of Directors knows what they're all about. They are the group that legitimizes McFarland. McFarland and those $1 million of people that are sitting behind him at this board meeting here make all the decisions. The board is put there to legitimize it. They don't have any actual role. So let's listen to this. I'll cut in when appropriate. Understand what this is and why they're doing it. It's very important that people understand that this is not a real thing.
Maybe there's a tag team here. Director Prosser and Stovall are the new members that make up the new strategic finance plan subcommittee of the board. So if you could give us a quick update on that.
Okay. Actually, this is just an update on the committee, or do you want the?
It's on the strategic finance plan.
Yeah. Just want to check and make sure which thing I'm doing right. We are continuing work on the strategic finance plan. Last meeting we did present our roadmap, which Travis, I don't have one in front of me, so Travis can wait in front of you there. Thank you. So now we're beginning to talk about specific elements of the plan. So today we're really going to focus on the payroll tax and fare box revenues, which is the green revenue portion. And just as a reminder to everybody.
Well, they're going to focus today on fare box revenues and payroll tax. Well, fare box, if they think they're going to increase fares anymore, they're out of their minds. Okay, they've already subjected any short rider users to ridiculously high rates. Trimet's still a good bargain if you are going long distances and plan to use the system all day. I mean, the day ticket is the best deal around. But if you just want to go a short distance, it's not a good deal. So the idea that they can change the fares is wrong. Okay, they're already at the high they can be. As a matter of fact, they need to give back to the customers, and 3-hour transfer is a good way to do that. Now, the payroll tax, that's a whole nother story. I'm not sure how much employment is growing around here. You can hear that there's a couple of new companies, but there's still a fairly high unemployment rate in this city.
We are on track to adopt this plan on November 27th. We do have information available on the website, and as I say, we're trying to get some more discussion going on this, and we'll spend a large portion of the board retreat on the 17th doing this. We do encourage testimony on the plan at our next board meeting, which is the 23rd. We also encourage people to submit written comments. So please move forward with that. The main questions that we're looking at here is, what is required to ensure that current revenues are adequate in perpetuity to maintain services, and how does Trimet pay for the system growth required to meet regional expectations? And the region does have very substantial expectations if you look at the Climate Smart Communities plans.
Now, that's a very, very serious point, because what he's saying is they have these expectations to grow the system. We want to double this system. They said it. They can't even keep what they have now. I mean, they're struggling to restore some frequent service. Okay, what they call frequent. There's no such thing as frequent service in this city, by the way. Frequent service is service every 10 minutes or less, not every 15 minutes. But thanks to Fred Hanson's distortion of language, they've said that frequent service here is 15 minutes or less. See, they have this idea that somehow they're going to get all this money and be able to double service or increase service. They can't even keep the service they have. So I'm not sure where this is coming from or how they actually think they're going to. Well, I do know how they think they're going to accomplish it. They're going to accomplish that by getting rid of the union benefits and channeling all that money, just like they channeled all the deferred comp into things that they wanted to buy rather than put it in the retirement fund. Intentionally, it's an intentional move. They knew all along that they were going to go plead bankruptcy on this stuff. They just conned everybody, including the union, on this.
That type of thing. So, in looking at payroll tax revenue will grow as the region goes. It's based on employment growth. So there is a correlation between employment growth and population growth. And in the proposed plan, we're talking, one of the questions we really wanted to address is whether we should dedicate a portion of the payroll tax and fare box revenue which results from employment growth to keep Trimet service proportional to the regional population. We haven't had such a...
There he says it again, that should we devote payroll and fare box money to keep service proportional? They're assuming again that they're going to be increasing service rather than just concentrating on the service they have and making sure they can deliver it, which they're not doing a very good job of, by the way. They keep talking about expanding service. So the discussion is flawed because, you see, they've already set the agenda. They've already said, we're going to do this. So that's already been told to the public. We're going to do this, and we'll take your comments, but we've already decided what we're going to do. It's a flawed argument right from the beginning.
Policy in the past, and I think one of the challenges we always face is how to keep our service levels at a level that can support the growth of the region. So, the questions we put these questions out for: should payroll tax growth resulting from employment growth be dedicated to restoring and expanding service, or should the revenue gained from increased ridership be dedicated to restoring and expanding service? Did
you hear what he said? He just said the same thing twice, basically. He just said restoring and expanding and restoring and expanding. I mean, obviously, you have to restore what you have. You don't need to expand if you don't have the resources to restore. Well, once again, it's a flawed discussion.
The other questions is, should we create a separate reserve fund or expand our existing fund balance policy target to smooth out fluctuations in the operating revenues? And we've just been through a downturn in the business cycle, and we saw what the impact was on Trimet. We don't want to go through that again, and one way to do that is to build a rainy day reserve. If we don't do that, the other choice is to allow service levels to fluctuate with currently available resources. And there are certain organizations.
That's also a flawed discussion to say that payroll tax, well, the fare box revenues have been higher every year, I believe. Maybe not proportional to the population, but from what I understand, with Trimet, revenues have gone up every single year. They've never gone down. They've gone up. Service has gone down, but gross revenues have gone up. Now, I've seen that in several places. I don't have the reference on top of my head, but I think if you check out, I think it's probably more of the conservative think tanks like the Cascade Policy can show you the charts. And I believe the charts are accurate of the increased revenues coming into Trimet and the decreased service. It's not made up. It's actually true.
Do that. It's not one that, of course, that I personally would advocate, but that's an option. So I was going to say we are looking at some information comparing the growth in payroll tax revenues to underlying inflation rates. So that's something we're going to be paying attention to in the next couple of meetings of the subcommittee. So perhaps, have you got anything else you want to add?
Certainly.
Okay, here comes Stovall, so you know what that means, right? Big, long pontification.
I just want to basically highlight, everything that Director Prosser was just going through is a process that, as an organization, we need to go through. We need to take a look at. This strategic financial plan is something that, as an organization, we need to take this long-term approach. I believe you have access to the strategic plan packet. We also have some documents and information online that allow you to go and kind of get some background on what we're doing here. Trimet's faced with a couple of different issues. We're faced consistently with acute challenges, things that happen on an ongoing basis that may happen only once or twice. Those are challenges that we have with our budget that we address, we look at, and we work to fix. Then we have more chronic challenges in regards to the OPEB, the long-term liabilities.
There you go. He just said it. The OPEB. That's what this is really all about. Okay, this is a roundabout way of coming after the union again.
In regards to our unfunded liabilities of issues there, and then we've got other challenges that we've spoke about and we've talked about. Well, we're taking the opportunity now as a board and as an organization to really take a long-term approach to some of these challenges on the chronic side. What are some of these long-term challenges? But we're wanting to do this with everybody's input as we move forward to make these decisions. There are various things.
You're hearing what he's saying, right? He's talking about the OPEB. But then he's saying, well, we want to do this with everybody's input. Well, they've already decided what they want to do, all right? This is the joke of it all. They already decided what they want. They want us to lose. They want all of us, retirees and current employees, to lose their benefits. That's what they want us to do. And to them, they're painting that as what will make or break the agency. It's not true, of course, but if every penny they take out of our pockets, they can put into their own pockets or put into other things. And so and this is the only thing they can do, really. They can't magically increase employment. And they're at the top of the fare box revenue. They have no other place to go. And they have these ridiculous expectations for growth here, which are absurd. So this is all about it's all about the employees, the union employees.
Things that are on the table, improvements in service, both short-term and long-term. We've got ideas in regards to increasing the transfer times as a way to assist and help and grow our system. So there's various things that we're looking at that go into kind of this strategic financial plan. But we're really taking the opportunity to take a step back And as you see, this plan that you see on here and the plan that you may have in your hand is a very aggressive time frame and a timeline to be able to address something that have been probably a long time in preparation to ensure that we can address some of these key things that we're facing. The questions that we have in our list are big questions. You know, they're not small questions, and these are questions that have tremendous implications, not just for the organization, but for service and the ability for people to move around the entire district in a way that allows them to get the things done that they need to get done. So we really want to gain this input. Again, we have various ways to do that, but we do have information online. The key thing that we're talking about today, and we want to get some, we want to have a little bit of discussion here at the board level, and allow everyone else to also listen in on some of the things that we're dealing with, is the payroll tax issue. Should payroll tax growth resulting from employment growth be dedicated to restoring and expanding service? Now, on the surface, that question seems pretty straightforward. I mean, someone could say, well, yes, we should do that. But there are other things.
Oh, we're going to end the video here. There's no point in listening any further to this just little charade of theirs. Very carefully scripted charade. I see it. I hope other people can see it. So the best I can do is try to inform people of what's really going on.